This is All India Radio. In the program Spotlight, now we bring you a discussion on Cabinet's approval on incentive for cotton, jute and sugarcane farmers. The participants are Dr. Nilay Ranjan, agriculture expert, and Sanjeev Mukherjee, journalist.
Government, in a major cabinet decision taken yesterday, has approved three big moves. One is it has increased the price of the ethanol which the oil marketing companies procure from the sugarcane firms. Second, it has cleared the reimbursement for Cotton Corporation for procurement done under MSP for last 7 years. Third, it has extended the jute reservation order for another year. Sir, how do you see all the three decisions taken by the government yesterday? One on ethanol, second on jute, third on cotton.
It's a very big decision, especially for supporting this cash crop. Most of the agro-based industry is based on these three cash crops, cotton, sugarcane and the jute. And first of all, I wanted to take that cotton. Because at one go, government clear all the dues of 7 years is a big step. And because one of the cotton, CCI, Cotton Corporation of India, purchased 1/3 of the cotton produced in India. Their dues is clear and that's directly getting benefit to the farmer. And through this, around 40 lakhs farmers will directly get benefit in the cotton industry. And second thing is that the input cost, if they're increasing and if they get all the dues at one go, it will help them for further investment in the cotton, which is very important cash crops in the majority of the northern and the southern states. And it will help both farmer and the industry also. Second is about the sugarcane. In August, the government has come with that blended ethanols will be increased to 20%. And that time they have increased to 70-80%. So if that the percentage of the blended ethanols will increase, and also the government is increasing continuously. Last year also increased the price. This year also 80% they have increased the prices 1 to 5%. It's also a very important step because it will help to increase the capacity. And also it helps the industry to move from seasonal industry to the cyclic industry. Because right now, most of the sugarcane is a season-based industry. So by introducing these schemes, by increasing the price of ethanol, at the same time increasing the percentage of ethanols in the petrol, is a wonderful step. And third thing, you talk about the jute. Reservation norms for the mandatory use of jute packaging. Government of India more or less procure jute bags of around 8,000 crore. So this will actually boost the small and medium industry which are doing on the jute-based products, packaging materials. And this is also a renewal because this is a less effect on the environment and it is a recycle also. And once the protection is there, so we can be self-dependent on the packaging materials. So it's a very good step by the government in terms of taking care of the climate and also by directly incentives to the farmer. Especially during the COVID period where most of the people are losing the jobs, farmers are not getting that incentives, fluctuating in the market. So these three big steps on the sugarcane, jute and the cotton is a wonderful step by the government.
On ethanol, sir, taking it slightly further, you said that the 20% blending program was advanced to 2025 and in this sugarcane obviously has to play a major role. The second thing what they have done is on the second generation ethanol, they have said that oil marketing companies will be free to fix the price of buying the second generation ethanol from various distilleries. So these second generation ethanol are the ethanol which is produced outside sugarcane, which is from say rice or wheat or corn or any other crop which is surplus in the country. So how do you see this decision that they have empowered the oil marketing companies to enter in directly into agreement with those distilleries who want to sell second generation ethanol to the oil marketing companies for blending? How big is this decision?
See, second generation crops are plenty. It's not like limited to the one crop, it's a multiple crops and across the India they are doing it. So those crops, if you're adding and using for the ethanol, it is both a demand and supply because 20% only in the sugarcane has a supply constraint. But by adding the more second generation crop for doing ethanol, it will definitely increase the cost of the those produce which the farmer are producing basically for the self-consumption. But if they are also using for the blended ethanol, then it will be increase the cost of those products. And the farmer will also that getting benefit out of that. Second thing is that the scope of the industry will increase because once petrol price is market driven and international price increase, so there is no control of the government in terms of standardizing the price of the oil price. But once the marketing company are buying from second generation crops, flour blending, it will help them to fulfill the target by 2025, 20% of the ethanols in the petrol and also help the whole systems of the cash flow, which is the less incentives right now, the agriculture, because once the byproducts also start using and giving income for them, it will help them in terms of saving the environment. At the same time, double incentive for the same crop which the farmer is doing it.
So one thing which slightly digressing from the topic is that when people say on this using food crops for making fuel, one big argument which always comes into focus is that when you have so much of nutrition deficiency or so much of malnutrition in the country, why do you divert food for making fuel? Which is a very ideological or ethical debate. What do you have to say on this?
There is no deficit of the food. We have surplus food. So storage and the consumption. If you start using it, the productivity will automatically increase. It's a demand and supply gap. So once they are getting a right incentive of the crop which they are doing it, they can use for the multiple purpose. Right now, less incentive for the farmers to produce more because first they are getting a lesser incentive for the food crops. And second thing is that byproducts is not used for that. And here, right now, the government is giving a fixed rates of the crops to the food grain to the each family, which is the BPL. So those families are taking care of that. Nutrition has a multiple component. So they have some component which is genetic, some components they have a food habits, some components they have knowledge about what need to be have taken at what time. So those are the different issues. So once you're looking those issues, you have to be looked in total. And second thing is that any product is diversified for utilizations for different purpose. It is increase the incentive for the people who are producing it. And second thing, it's also increase the value of those products. Right now, only using for the consumption has a limitation. Once they're using for the other purposes, it has to automatically increase both market value at the same time people to go for the cultivation for the farmer.
As you rightly said, we are not producing less. We are producing more of a quantity which is required less, and we are producing less of a quantity which is required more. Actually, there is a dichotomy in the way we produce and way we consume. So that needs to be addressed to solve this problem. Now, coming to the second decision of the Cotton Corporation of India, you very rightly said the Cotton Corporation of India needs to be strengthened because it plays a very pivotal role in helping the farmers. In the current year's context, many people are saying the prices are still slightly remunerative as compared to the previous years. How do you think this decision will overall help the Cotton Corporation to intervene very effectively into the market?
7 years backlog is a big backlog. Any organizations which is completely dependent because they have to give a fixed prices to the farmer if the price is little less than the MSP. So that's the commitment to them. In absence of the cash flows, they have a difficulty to move on. But once they have all the backlog is clear at one go, and they also committed for this current year. So it's good for the Cotton Corporation of India to purchase that. Because see, the cotton is a very sensitive area where most of the industry are moving to the organic cottons and the quality concerns. So the Cotton Corporations of India also produce the quality and the farmer assured market where they can sell it. So it's because it's not like that uncertainty. I invest because it's a very capital intensive crop. Input cost is very high in the cotton. And once crop fail, then the whole farmer go back to the below poverty line. It is very difficult for them. So once they have such institutions which has their backing and which already procuring 1/3 of the cotton produced in India, and India is producing 25% of the cotton in the world. So if there is institutions backup which can procure at least 1/3 of the cotton, so it's big boost for the farmer. They know that if the company and the corporates are not purchasing directly from the market, there is other institutions also which can at least able to purchase from us on the particular prices. Big boost for the farmer who are doing the cotton cultivation and a lot of people in the northern India. I just come back from the Madhya Pradesh where I've seen the cotton farmer where some of the users are there with the CCI. They're not getting it. So once they get these incentives in their bank account, it will give them for the next crop cycle. And automatically it's a big boost because it's motivation for the farmer because some institutions like FCI, despite whatever you say, the FCI is there. So people say that they will not die. They will get rice and if they earn 100 rupees also, at least they get income, they get food for the consumption for a month. Similarly, if CCI get those incentives, 17,000 crore the government has given to them, it's a big boost for the farmer who are doing a cotton cultivation and they are assured that the money which is due the CCI will get at the right time.
In the same manner, the jute decision also, as you said, some 8,500 crores directly goes into the jute industry by the government's own procurement of jute bags for FCI or 20% mandatory jute bagging for sugar industry. It is also that kind of direct support that the government gives to the jute farmers who are primarily very small and marginal farmers located in the eastern part of the country. So in that context, this extension of the jute bagging order, which is done every year, is also very significant because it means jute industry survives on this thing. It continues to survive. So also the jute farmers, isn't it?
Correct. Around 5 to 7 lakhs workers are employed in the jute factory, which are doing the packaged material. So 7 lakh farmer is around 40 lakhs families are directly dependent on those employment. So once that government assure the purchase of jute for the packaging material, and that's 8,000 crore, is a boost for the economy and the worker because they get an income for that. And for the environment, because everywhere talking about environment, the government of India has already declared that net zero by 2050. So by reservations norms for mandatory use of the jute packaging is a very big norms, very big step by the government, because it is a renewal and it has lesser effect on the pollution. Because by using a plastic, you know that what are the kind of impact they are doing on the environment. So these are resources which can be renewable, reuse, and also environment friendly. And of course, the poor people in the small cities who are completely dependent on the jute industry, small cotton industries, they will directly get benefit out of it. So it's both. It's affecting the environment. It's affecting large families whose income earning members are working in the jute factory. And third thing is that once they ensure that the procurement is fixed, so they will not move out from the jute, which is a day by day moving a less incentives. So once this kind of fixed thing is a boost for the small cottage industry, which during the COVID times are facing also crisis. So it's a big step for them.
Do you think this again reinforces the whole argument that many people are giving now is that government is trying to move away from agriculture and lay it into the hands of the farmers? These decisions deleted defy those arguments, right? Which actually say the government is trying to move out of agriculture and putting it into the hands of private ventures.
It's not like that. See, the farmer will be there. And these incentives to the farmer, what farmer want? Farmer want the right price of the crops which they produce. So if the incentives, this kind of blendings, this kind of use of the byproducts are given to the industry, the same material can use for two purposes. So they will get the right price. Once they get right prices, that's over. If you produce cotton, I cannot consume the cotton. It have to go to the industry and it have to go further processing. And the government cannot engage and move out that the farmer are less priority for the government. These all steps are in those directions that they are the processes to follow, and right decisions only help the farmer. So I don't think so there is any perceptions about the government that they should move out from the farming and the less priority for the government. Because if there's less priority, that by every quarter, every 2 months, some incentives to protect the farmer interests, and the government is doing it. It's very clear.
Coming back to the decision on ethanol, it's a very significant decision, as you rightly said in the beginning. One thing which it also does is that it helps in clearing that sugarcane dues of the farmers, which has been a very long-standing and a long problem for the sector. How do you think the more and more we move towards ethanol blending and more sugar diverted towards ethanol than rather than for producing sugar, the cane, in fact, helps in addressing this problem of dues that accrues to farmers?
Today, the petrol is a kind of essential goods. If the price is so high, still the consumption is not reducing. So you cannot stop it. So by blending ethanols, it gives incentive to the sugar industry. And it's a 24/7 because they have to be produce the ethanol by products from the sugarcane. And there's a additional incentives to the sugarcane mills. The same people are doing it, blending of the ethanol also. So the cash, which is right now what the industries are saying that there's a crisis in the industry, that's why you're not able to pay that. So once they have a flow of the cash and more dependency in the farmer on the sugarcane, because their company will depend on that they get raw material regularly. So I think the cash flow is improved, all the dues will be clear, and there is a constant flow of raw materials to the farmer, because both are win-win situations. They have to run the factory for 24 whole year and they need the raw materials, and the farmer are producing the raw materials. So it will improve the cash flow of the corporate sugar mills, and it will also provide the dues to the farmer. And it is a long issue. But by adding this component, it has a new life to the sugarcane industry, which is a dying industry 10 years back. But it will give a new life to the sugarcane industry. And my perception is that we're going to boom it, because everybody moving for renewable energy, and this will has a lesser effect on the environment. And this will give a big boost to the sugar industry.
Really, these decisions of the cabinet taken yesterday should go a long way in solving a lot of problems of the agriculture sector in various crops. Thank you, Mr. Nilay, for sharing your views with us.
Thank you.
You were listening to a discussion on Cabinet's approval on incentive for cotton, jute and sugarcane farmers. The participants were Dr. Nilay Ranjan, agriculture expert, and Sanjeev Mukherjee, journalist. This program was produced and presented by the News Services Division of All India Radio. You can listen to it on our mobile app, News on AIR. This program is also available on our YouTube channel, News on AIR Official. You may email your opinion about this program at airnsdtalks@gmail.com.